I'm here with Harry Tchilingurian, who is the head of commodity research at BNP Paribas, and we have just been at a session looking at rebalancing of oil markets. And Harry, I wanted to ask you, you seem to be one of the more bearish on the rebalancing. You still see some extra. Would you care to comment on that?
Well, I think the rebalancing process is going to be a tough road, basically, because we're looking at OPEC trying to, I guess, reduce supply on a discretionary basis, while at the same time its actions are raising the price and reinviting supply back in. So it's a difficult act for them to actually perform. And beyond what they may achieve, there are a lot of question marks on what they will actually achieve. And certainly a number of countries are exempt from participating in OPEC cuts. And that, of course, is going to raise questions as to how much of a burden Saudi Arabia is going to have to shoulder in this process.
Very good. Probably a little geopolitics lurking behind this as well.
Absolutely. I think that people have called a truce to the market share war that we've seen since the end of 2014. Is that actually the case? And that brings me back to the allocation of cuts. Who is going to forego production? Who is going to forego market share? And in case of the regional players in the Middle East, we know obviously that there are some tensions between the key OPEC suppliers. We've seen this from Saudi Arabia, Iran, Iraq. Who's going to give up what, I think, is a key question.
And your point before was that in the agreement that was reached in Algiers, that whereas Iraq was exempted in the old quotas, which were suspended a few years back, or we'll call them targets as they do, that this time there's three of them. And
Absolutely.
It's Nigeria, it's Libya, and it's Iran, all three of which have upside to them.
Definitely. Again, the situation in countries like Nigeria and Libya is really, I guess, subject to how domestic conditions evolve. But we have seen more recently production in Nigeria picking up. Libya certainly, at least, is officially aiming to reinstate production at 900,000 barrels a day. So you're looking really at potentially an increment of 800,000 barrels a day, let's say conservatively, from these two countries, if domestic conditions permit. And that means that that's 800,000 more that OPEC will have to cut above and beyond what it's actually aiming to achieve in terms of collective output.
And if history is a guide, OPEC means Saudi Arabia in that. There's a non-OPEC component, which Mohammed Barkindo talked about at the session just before ours, that Russia is obviously a critical part of that non-OPEC, and supposedly there was some constructive discussion, let's call it, between Russia and OPEC, Mr. Barkindo, at the World Energy Conference in Istanbul.
Well, you know, as Churchill used to say, Russia is an enigma wrapped in a riddle, etc. And in the end, Russia will do what's good for Russia. I don't think that has changed. Russian production is at all-time records. Certainly the production has been resilient because their domestic cost base is in rubles, a weak currency, and their revenues in dollars. So they've managed to maintain production. The question really is, above and beyond what Vladimir Putin is indicating, can the Russian oil industry at large basically reduce output, understanding that this is a great revenue in terms of dollars that needs to service Russian debt that is dollar denominated.
Thank you, Harry.
Thank you.